Jamie Peacock's come along and he's going to give us his 1 to 13. Of all the players that he's played with, he's going to give us the very best ones. And these are really popular features, Jamie. And I think Adrian Morley's in particular is right up there, as well as the toughest players. But just tell us, you've played with some very good players in some very good teams. So don't envy you, because I know it'd be a tough one for you.
Yeah, this is hard. This is really hard. But what made me realise, well, I thought I was very lucky to play with some great players. You know, along the way, I've been thinking about who I put in there. So we must start, or
yeah, fullback. Yeah, who's your fullback?
So I've got to give mentions to people along the way. Obviously,
of course.
Yes, we've got Mick Withers, played with Mick Withers at the Bradford Bulls, the Ghost. He had just the knack of beating people, the strongest, skinniest man in the world. And then also Webby, Brent Webb at Leeds was an awesome player. But I think the one that stood out for me is Paul Wellens. I really wanted to play with Paul Wellens. Got to do it with England. We both came through at the same time together with England in the 2000 World Cup. And he's just such a competitor. He's like myself, wants to compete for everything, like you. And just a desire to win, and he's not bothered about getting hurt. He's one of them fullbacks who just don't care about getting hurt, and he cares as much about defence as he does attack. And yeah, for me, he is the one. But those two get another honourable mention.
He sticks up there, mate, for me as a professional person. Now we all understand that there's some fullbacks, and we could rattle a few off here, where there's this very fine line between genius and insanity, and some of them struggle to stay on that line. Yeah. But Paul Wellens absolutely nailed it throughout his career, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a brilliant player. Fantastic. It was the heartbeat at St Helens, wasn't it, for the past 15, 16 years, and it was great to always play with him with England, and he likes to drink as well.
Of course, we've got to let off some steam somehow. Your two wingers, JP, and I'm pretty certain I know which one of them will be.
Right, yeah. So this one's probably maybe one of the easier ones to do. I think. There's one guy who's going to miss out, which is very close to Vita Vicona at Bulls. I played with him, and there was four of us played together on the right-hand side. Myself, Henry, Scott Naylor, and Tavita. And Tavita was awesome. He was part of that. But first one was Leslie Vinocola. But without a doubt, I mean, what a guy off the pitch as well. Lovely guy off the pitch, funny guy off the pitch. But on the pitch, he was just a monster. Could score tries. He'd want to do 20 carries a game. He was one of those first wingers to do that. And he was that strong. It was ridiculous, and he just loved to score tries. He had the knack to be able to score. He wasn't just a big bloke who was quick. He knew how to score the try as well. And then the second one is, the Rugby League's most boring man, Ryan Hall.
I'm going to fall asleep while you're telling me about him.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a good guy, Ollie, as well. He's a great guy. I'm taking a mix saying he's boring. He's quite interesting, really, in his own unique way, because he's very, very different. But Ollie's another one as well that I just think that carrying the ball back is phenomenal. You saw how well he played in the World Cup. He's going to go down to the NRL, and I'm sure he'll kill it down there. But his ability to score a try in a big game when it was needed, that he had to score. He won't just giving it and putting it over the line. Yeah. And there was a highlight package of the stuff we won at Leeds, and the amount of big tries he'd scored in big games is just huge. So those two quite comfortable on the wings.
When you talk about Les Vinocola, my belly sinks a little bit, because my mind goes back, it abstracts, and it imagines myself being in front of him again. And you think, oh, good gracious. And I don't know whether it's just me who's changed and got older, but they don't seem to be like that anymore. You know, your Vinocolas, your Jamie Peacocks, your Stu Fieldings, and Les Vinocola, Vicona, Happy. They were just, all of them are monsters. You might get one in a team now. But do you think it's changed?
Yeah, I just think there's probably the bigger players are in the NRL at the moment. That's the thing. I think if you look, maybe I played in the grand final in 2001, and I think Wigan had like Matthew Johnson, David Ferner, Adrian Lamb, and these had all just come out of the back of playing. These were playing State of Origin. They'd not finished playing State of Origin, and we had Joe Vergana, the likes of that in our team, Henry Paula, who were the best they could be, and they just ain't that player anymore. And I think the higher up you go, the bigger the player is. You know, the bigger physically. When you get to Test match, you know everyone's just big, aren't they, in athletic? So I think that's the difference at the moment.
Two centres. This must be a tough one.
Yeah, this is difficult. I give Scott Naylor a mention for he was part of that right side we had at the Bulls when we were winning a lot of things, and he was a great defensive player, really good defensive player, but could score a try as well. And he was good. He was a good guy to have a beer with as well. But first one is Keith Senior. You know, Keith, the world's most negative man, by the way. But he could find a problem within a problem. You know, not a solution to it. But he was a great player, and there was another player, the the harder the game was, the better he played.
Yeah.
He never shirked anything, did Keith, and he was a very good player. And then the next one's Shontaine. I thought Shontaine, happy. Shonny and Les played together, and they were a massive part of what went well at the Bulls. And he was another one who could score a try, a great sidestep. And when he was at his best, he overcome 3 knee reconstructions as well. So he's mentally tough, a good guy, and those two are my centres.
Great pairing there, and Keith Senior and Shontaine happy. Wow, I'm thinking about this team already. Who's your 6 and 7? Who's going to boss this team around the park?
So again, it's just difficult. I got to give mentions to obviously Rob Burrow, Sean Long played with him, Paul Deakin and Robbie Paul. Mentions for all them, all great players as well. But the first one's Henry Paul. Henry Paul's my standoff. I go with Henry. I thought Henry, when I played with him at the Bulls, we didn't always see eye to eye when we played, but he's a good guy, and he was just phenomenal. He was the best player in the competition, and when the competition was tough, and he was an half, he could make 40 tackles and he banged 20 of them, and then he could score a try and anything by running. He could kick. When Henry was his best, he had absolutely everything. And then the other one's Danny Maguire. I've got to go for Danny. I'm going to put Danny in there just because I just thought Danny's ability to play well in big games was just second to none. You've seen it, you've seen he won the grand final in 2017 and he's raised his performance. Look, it's a team performance, but I always knew if we got into a grand final and we just did our job well in the forwards, and he'd generally come up with something, and he's just done it over and over and again, and he's still playing well now at OKR, so I go with those two.
Hollywood, Magsy, never known anybody like him, a bit of playing well in a big game. But just quickly going back to Henry Paul, what separated him and Robbie? What was the difference between the two?
Probably about 4 inches in height, I reckon, and about 10 kilos. I think Henry was just a bigger version than Robbie.
Right.
And Henry, he was almost like a loose forward playing at standoff.
Right.
Robbie's a great player, but Henry just probably had that little bit more.
For sure. We're getting into that territory that you really know a lot about now. Who are your 2 front rowers?
So, look, this is really, really hard. I mean, from my Bulls days, you got to speak. Stu was great in his day. Brian Mack was coming through, Joe Vagana. And then when I played at the Rhinos, Kylie stood out for me. Kylie Lulu. Kylie was a fantastic player. I loved playing alongside Kylie. But I think to be in this team, you've got to play more than 15 minutes in a row. And in England, I've got to give James Graham a mention. James Graham's a brilliant player. We've seen what he's done down in the NRL, and he was hard to play against. But there's 2. First one's Adrian Morley. Wow. Mozza, we all know how good Mozza was. Every player will say he's the toughest player he's played against, because he was, and he went down there to the NRL and absolutely killed it when there were no British people down there. They were all scared to death of him, and he played well for England, and he's just a good guy off the pitch and an animal on it. Yep. And then the other one is to get him in the team is Sam Burgess. I put Sam Burgess in at prop. I think Sam Burgess is probably the best player I played with. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, when he particularly when he played the Aussies, I think it was in 2011. He just stood out with his head above his shoulders, and one thing will always stand out for me is that performance he gave with a fractured cheekbone. I think a lot of people, there's 3 types of players, I reckon. There's people who get fractured cheekbone and go off, right, the sensible ones. And then there's people who get fractured cheekbone and play but not really put their head in where it hurts. Or there's Sam who'll play with a fractured cheekbone and win man of the match. Yeah. So, he's out there on his own with that, and he's the best.
That's the type of mental toughness that people don't always see, is it? They think toughness is bashing people and fighting and carrying on, but that's what players really respect, that strength in pain, isn't it?
Yeah, to play through injury and to play well through injury. I always think there's 2 types of players. There's those who play injured and play crap. Yeah. Well, what's the point of you playing? Or they will play injured and play well because they know they want to do something for the team.
For sure, unreal, absolutely unreal. Hooker.
Yeah. I play with some of the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jimmy Lawes, Robes.
Robe. I play with Robes. With England, I've got to play with Robes, Kieran Cunningham, Terry Newton.
Wow.
And then at Leeds, I was lucky to play with Danny Badeiras. Play with an Aussie captain and the nicest guy of all time. And if I don't pick him, he'll probably apologise to me for me not picking him. Say sorry to everything. But I've got to go with this guy, Jimmy Lawes. I've got to go with Jimmy.
Right,
Jimmy was the best. Jimmy brought me through as a younger player. He was aggressive. I loved that about him. But you never got a bad ball from Jimmy. If he thought the pressure was on you, he'd take it himself. And if the time was right to give you the ball, he'd give you the ball. He was a brilliant player to play alongside. And when he was his best, he was the best by a mile. I remember him coming into the Great Britain series in 2002. And when Kieran had to leave with a fractured elbow, and he came in and just killed the Kiwis. He was the best player.
He's a crazy character. He's a good coach as well, and he's very, very tactile. He wants to get his arms on you when he's demonstrating. Come here, Jonesy. That's what you're about. But I am sort of gutted in many ways that I never got a chance to play with him. Back row. Who's your best back rows? You don't have to pick me. You don't have to mention me.
You'll be in there for you compete. You know, everything you want to compete and want to win it, and that's inspiring in itself. All right. So you come close, but the two
by this far.
The two that I pick is the first one would be Danny Gartner from the Bradford Bulls. Played with Danny for like 2 or 3 years, and he just got everything right. He was just a player's player. He'd turn up in the right place at the right time. He'd do all that work that everybody knows needs to be done, but nobody wants to do it. He'd do all that defensive work, and in attack he'd always be pushing. And he was just almost like the perfect player for play second row. He was a good guy for me to learn from at that point in my career.
Brilliant.
I spent a lot of time watching what he did. Then the other one's Gareth Ellis. Gareth Ellis, what a player! What a player to play alongside. He's another one who played at 9 out of 10 every week. He hit harder than anyone I've played against. I've got chipped teeth, courtesy of Gareth Ellis when he played for Leeds, and I was at the Bulls still, and he was great carrying the ball as well. A humble guy off the pitch, animal on it, so he was an amazing player.
Brilliant. Ben, can we edit Jamie Peacock out of my best 13 from in front? That loose forwards, my favourite position.
I know. Well, this is difficult for me, really difficult, because there's a few guys. Andy Farrell with England, you know, he could play. His top game was fantastic, really good. Mike Forshaw at the Bulls, played with him, and his top game was really good. Then there's Kev. Kev, you know, I could have had Kev in at 6 or in at 13, but I'm going to make way for him, for Kev. Kev's one of the most tactically aware players I've ever played with, and also unbelievable in a big game. But the one person who just got in front of him, because when I played with him, he was unbelievable. It's Paul Sculthorpe. Wow. So I played with Scully for a couple of seasons when he was at his best for England, and he was untouchable. He was just an unbelievable player. For me, it's step up and play for Great Britain against Australia, and have a guy like that next year play as well as that. It was just incredible. It's a shame his career went off the way it did with injury, because when he was at his best, you know, he won the Man of Steel 2 years running. I don't think you'll ever see anybody ever do that again. I think that's testament to just how good he actually was. So it's Kev misses out by this, but then I got to put him in off the back of those performances I played with him for Great Britain.
There's only Kevin Sinfield or Paul Sculthorpe that can tip Kevin Sinfield like that. But thank you very much. That's a very interesting 1 to 13, particularly Gartner. That's special, but really appreciate it, James. Thanks.
No worries. Thank you.